We all wanna change. We all wanna be somebody else. I wanna visit all the places nobody goes. I wanna teach all the things that nobody knows. I wanna grow wings, leave the coop, learn to fly. Bungee jump from the tallest building in Dubai. I wanna fly around town in my UFO. I wanna eat real food.
Welcome back to Desert with Days, and I am here with the talented, amazing opera singer, Mr. Marcus Smith. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Kathy. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. I mean, it's such an honor to have you sitting here on this couch here today. Really looking forward to it. You know what? My mind was just on fire with all the questions I want to ask you, and the reason is because, you know what, being a Black female, we don't hear much about Black opera singers, especially Black male opera singers, especially here in Arizona. So that's really interesting.
Exactly.
So, growing up, where did your inspiration come to be an opera singer?
Very good question. So when I grew up, I was always a different kid. I loved Michael Jackson. I grew up with gospel music, and then I found solace in classical piano.
Huh?
So I would listen to Mozart, I would listen to Chopin, and then that classical love for expressing emotions where words don't fit in carried over to opera. And by the time I got to high school, I was still in band and playing clarinet and singing my lines, and the choir teacher bangs on the door and says, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm in your practice room." "No, you need to be singing. You need to be in choir." And so at that point, she gave me my first Italian piece by Ciampi. And if you would like, I can give you a little taste of that. And that's what made me fall in love with opera. So it started with Tre giorni son che Nina, il letto se ne sta, il letto se ne sta. And then I fell in love with it. I'm like, I got to do more opera.
Wow, who wouldn't fall in love with that? I'm sitting there. As a young person growing up, how did the other children respond? I guess teenagers respond to you.
Well, if I go back even earlier to elementary school, I went to Byron Berry Elementary for a short time. And there was this kid, I would sing. First of all, Miss McLaughlin was an amazing teacher, and she encouraged me to sing to my heart's content, to express myself. I'm like, okay. So she invited me to sing over the intercom. It was called Bop-a-Ditty. It was this 50s style song that I to this day, I'm still not sure if it's real or not, or if she made it up. But that moment, there was some resistance. I had this other kid that wanted to start a fight because, wait, why do you get to sing on the intercom? I don't want that. So there was some resistance there. Teenagers, though, there's a newfound respect because they're like, "You're cracking my face. I don't understand. How are you doing this and why?" And then when I explained,
so they were interested in it.
They were interested.
It was something different.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. Where does a young man raised in Phoenix get the required training to pursue opera?
Back in high school, my teacher was Sandy Vernon, and she had good friends once you were ready to meet those people and you had your package together. So those friends became my friends and teachers, and that's Gail Dubinbaum-Massaro and John Massaro of Phoenix Opera. They're amazing because they help foster local talent and build you up to that next level. So that's where I would say would be the start to learning technique and learning how to apply singing to acting.
Amazing, amazing. How often did you hear, why do you want to be an opera singer? And what answer would you give it to a young man or female wanting to pursue opera?
Initially, I didn't think I would be an opera singer. I didn't know. But now I know why, because it helps me express my passion and my emotions. And it feels good to share that energy connection between you and the audience. You know, once you do that and you've heard from them, you know you've done their job. You know you've done your job. So one of the things I could tell someone who's young and starting off is prepare your package, learn your languages, learn what you are saying so you can convey that information to people, learn about the culture so it is appropriate, and then start expressing the character.
Right.
Let yourself go.
And you know, it's like acting.
Hmm.
You're doing the same thing. You're expressing that character and you're learning about yourself as well.
Yes, and one other thing I would say is look into young artist programs. Young artist programs really help you develop your career and your repertoire. So that would be the next step. And then start looking at agents.
Marcus, do you speak any other languages?
You know, I had to learn how to pronounce languages that I sing, but je parle un petit peu le français parce que la langue est très belle, mais je ne suis pas courant. I do speak a little French. I am learning and do speak a little Italian as well, and German and Spanish, and I know how to pronounce Korean and Japanese. Yes.
Okay, you just thought you'd show out for me today,
Just a
didn't you?
little.
Tell us about your favorite performance and why that was your favorite performance.
So, my favorite performance is actually happening as we speak. And I'm a part of the Festival of International Opera program. And I am cast as the lead, Emperor Nerone or Emperor Nero. And it's a lot of fun. I get to be drunk. I get to be mad. I get to be in love. I don't get to be sad because Emperor Nero, he doesn't show weakness. Okay. But I think roles prior to that, I'd say when I was giving Pagliaccio and I Pagliacci, when I was giving Pagliaccio flack as a comprimario tenor role, I was saying that his wife was a slut, basically, or wasn't really faithful or honest. And that was very enjoyable.
So opera is about telling stories, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah.
So learning to speak the other languages and telling these stories, is that really hard to learn the language and then to be able to tell these stories in that language?
Yeah, it is actually pretty difficult. Opera means great work. And you got to not only learn the exact word translation, but you got to learn what it meant back then when the person wrote it.
Right.
Because the culture is different now.
Sure.
So once you learn what that is back then you can express appropriately what the composer wants and then add yourself to it. Because without adding yourself, you're not an artist.
I'd like to ask you to do a little bit something for me, but I'd like you to pick one of your pieces and I would like you to explain to us what that piece means.
Sure. So I will give you an excerpt of E la solita storia del pastore, and it is actually written after a goat fight. Okay, it's an old shepherd telling a goat fight, one goat betraying the other. Well, in this case, in this opera, he's the goat being betrayed by his other goat, and he's telling this innocent young boy, I wish I could be you, to not even know betrayal, to not even know heartache. I wish I had the power within me to do this. And so it goes, Anch'io vorrei dormir così, nel sonno almen l'oblio trovar, la pace son cercando io, vorrei poter tutto
That was beautiful. I don't know what you were saying, but it was beautiful. Amazing, amazing. Where you told us where your last project is going to be. Where can our audience find you?
So that project is currently being filmed and recorded, and it will be released the summer of 2022
Oh, okay.
at FIO-Italia, ITALIA.com. I will also have some of the excerpts on my Instagram and Facebook.
Okay,
Mhm.
awesome, awesome. Anything else coming up? I mean, any live performances where I can just go sit in the audience and be in love?
Well, with COVID still existing, we
Right.
still have things planned. So if you want to
Okay.
come to Italy, I was invited to go to Italy this winter
Sure.
and to sing in Italy. And then I will be back the week after. Will be another performance here in town. I would keep posted on phoenixopera.org for
Okay.
the details in January or February of next year.
Wonderful. It was such a pleasure having you here today. And thank you for that.
Thank you for
Beautiful.
having me.
That was amazing. Thank you for joining us today here on Desertwood Days. We'll catch you next time.